So we have a guest speaker today. As I was mentioning, is Miss Jo Chapman. She is joining us from Oxfordshire. We thank her very much today because mornings are always busy. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her business, The Wandering Kitchen, and how she shapes the environment to help her business. Let me, can I call you Jo to keep things simple?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. To the students, if you go to the icon, if you choose the speaker mode, it's easier. So go ahead, Jo. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, and then we can start asking you questions.
Yeah, so I run The Wandering Kitchen with my husband, Ed. We started in 2013 as a pop-up. We used to do pop-up restaurants in village halls, and we have a catering trailer. So the initial concept of the business was to be outside in the summer and inside in the winter doing pop-ups. We quickly moved and expanded our business and took on 2 cafes on Milton Park, on the business park in Oxfordshire, and did pop-ups on 3 business parks in Oxfordshire with our catering trailer and with other local businesses. And then last summer we took over the cafe at Berensfield at Oxford Wet and Wild, which is now where we're permanently based as our business. Since COVID, we actually closed the other cafes, unfortunately, but we've actually really managed to diversify our business through what's been quite a difficult time. It's actually been quite a positive time as well for us, which has, been really good for us as a business. And we've used branding and social media very much from the very beginning to develop a strong sense of what the Wandering Kitchen is. And from the very early days of the name to the logo to everything that we put out really into the world, it's all developed along this line of being rustic and earthy, and it's all to do with us making everything from scratch and home cooking, and this concept that food is love basically, and that when someone cooks for you, it's an act of kindness, an act of love. And that came from the very initial concept of the business for me and Ed, is that was our families. We're both from big families. We both had big family meals, hearty home cooked food, and that's kind of what we want to come across in everything that we do.
That's fantastic. That's great. Thank you. So tell us a little bit, for instance, in terms of the location. How did that then shape how you chose, how you decorated the place, the colors, or how you organized the space, things like that?
So we took over the cafe and we walked in, and it's weird to say, but it instantly sort of spoke to us, the space. It was all wooden cladded, it was rustic, and it kind of worked as an extension of our brand in its initial form, and then sort of the ways that we've developed it over time from what was there originally is we've put in a lot of fairy lights going up all the poles, and it's basically a cafe on the lake, so you look out and it's this amazing view, and it has this sense about the place without doing anything to it, of this calm and really nice space that you want to spend time in. And it was actually just to develop that we wanted to do, so creating the fairy lights, and we've created a courtyard outside as partly to do with COVID, but actually something that will stay, that's got a lot of lights in it. It's got lots of different coloured chairs around rusticy wooden tables. and it's all just to make people feel like it's somewhere that they want to stay and calm and bring other people when obviously you can bring other people.
Yeah.
And even through to, we've had some artwork designed in the toilets. I just had this feeling that the toilets were really boring and it and didn't kind of do anything. And so we had an artist come in to do some paintings, and we've got 3 toilets. We've got a ladies, gents, and a disabled toilet. And in each one now we have a mural really of 3 different books. So we've got Alice in Wonderland, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and The Lord and the Rings. And this was again to do with the brand and it being this make you feel that you're kind of going into this magical, mystical world. And all of those books have, you know, Narnia, Middle Earth, Wonderland, and kind of creating this, when you walk in, that it's kind of this mystical, wonderful place that you'd just like to be. And so we've had those done in the toilets, and also with quotes from the book, just to create, you know, that everywhere that you go within the cafe, it's kind of on brand and makes you feel good.
Yes, yeah. And I suppose what you said about the fairy lights, it's something that makes you feel very homely, isn't it? Because you think about Christmas or these kind of decorations too.
Yeah, and people walk in and they kind of go, and they have this, like, it is this warmth that they feel when they walk in, and yeah, that they feel at home. And it's not fancy. That's the other thing that we're trying, as a food business, we're not, you know, your high-end fancy restaurant where, you know, you put on your best clothes and you're on your best behavior. This is somewhere to come and feel like home, and you can come in your muddy boots and you can come after you've been to the water park. You know, it's that kind of feeling. You can bring your dog in, you can bring your children in, everyone's welcome.
Do you have music in your restaurant?
Yeah, we do. We have a selection of playlists. Music's such an important part to my life, and it's something that I think adds then that kind of extra, you know. And we have several playlists, you know, ones that are more chilled, ones when we're like, oh, you know, today needs a bit more 80s, you know, but it's always.
Yeah, we were talking about the importance of music and how it changes how we feel, how we make us move faster or more slowly, and
yeah. And some days we do, as I say, we, like me and the team, like you come in and you're like, oh, right, I really need to get going today, so I need something fast paced. And then, but usually our sort of general restaurant playlist is quite chilled, because it's, again, we want people to feel calm and you know, at home, and you know, just to take their time and feel welcome.
Let me just remind students, you can always ask questions in the chat box, okay? And then I will ask our guest speaker. I have another. So then we have the big naughty, nasty word, COVID, right? It came. It of course disrupted business. You had to close for a while, and then when you reopened, you had to make big changes to the way the place looked. Can you tell us something about it? What changes you made, and how did you try to keep the brand and the feeling despite all of these changes, please?
Yeah, so our big change was that when we reopened with a shop, so that we could reopen, and it was a way for people to come and find us and, you know, get their coffee as well as get their shopping. And the ways that we kept it on brand were, we incorporated into the shop our bar that we've used for pop-up events, which is all rustic and wooden, and has the One Drink Kitchen logo written across it. So we put that in the middle of the shop, so it was kind of instantly our brand. And we used all sort of wooden baskets and you know, Hessian stuff in the basket, so it all looked really rustic. And also down to sort of, you know, packaging, it was all sort of brown compostable packaging, so working with our look, as well as, you know, working with being sustainable and thinking about the environment, which is also something that we have written in our, you know, part of our brand, because, you know, it's really important at the moment, and not only something that people are looking for, it's something as a business that we know, you know, we need to be thinking about and about the future. And so it's actually quite, and I just talking about it to another group this morning about how actually something that was, like you say, oh, it was like scary word, it actually became a really positive thing for us in the team. Like, we all worked on this project, getting the shop together and open, and it had this really, actually really good result for our team, and getting the team on brand and working with the brand, like because they were there at the very beginning of this new project, they very much took it on as part of their own, you know, they wanted it to succeed. So everyone was very involved, and it's actually created a really, really strong team at the end of it.
Yeah, and what about those the actual requirements? Like, did you have to put arrows or instructions, because you had to change the way people got food, right? So how?
Yeah, we had to change. I mean, actually, as a food business, it's something that you kind of don't want to do, is have a big sign at the door of do's and don'ts and do this and don't do that, because it's actually, I think, quite blocking for people. So for the summer we did everything takeaway. So you came in, you followed the arrows, ordered, and then one-way system out, and then we had a food collection point that was around the other side, so people would walk around, come and get their food, which actually it did work. It kind of worked really well, actually. It kept the flow going, so no one was coming back past each other. And yeah, it can be a bit jarring, I think, for people and I think one of the important things that we actually, and it's in the writing, I think, again, being on brand, it's like we wrote our rules and stuff, and it's written in a certain way that it's not so much do, don't. Like, we try and be a little bit funny, a little bit quirky, use like long lyrics from Queen to put up our, you know, face mask poster, and, you know, it says no mask on your face, you big disgrace. You know, just in trying to, even though you've got to tell people the rules, which is very do, don't, trying to do it in a way that is still trying to be welcoming, which I think has been a challenge. Is a challenge for us. And for the majority, it's been fine.
I think, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing the other challenge is balancing this feeling of feeling homely, which is usually being together, with the need to keep distance because of COVID, right?
Yeah, that has been a challenge, and a big challenge for me, and I think it's something that is challenging for people, because when they go to a new place, I think, whereas previous to COVID, you would just kind of walk in and sort of see what happened. People have become, like, it's very much changed how customers come into any space, because they're a little bit unsure and a little bit more like, oh, I don't know this place, or I don't really know what their system is. And so again, it was just using language, of written language, to be welcoming, but then also for our staff, like, the feedback on our staff is always like, oh, they're so friendly, and it's really important, I think, when people are unsure, to cut in and kind of, oh, can we help you? Are you okay? You follow the signs this way, and be friendly and welcoming in that way, and trying to, because they just try to get rid of that discomfort in people, because they're very anxious, and coming into a new place can actually give, I think, people currently quite a lot of anxiety and stress, and it's trying to, you know, be homely in that sense of, you're welcome, you know, come in, don't be scared of coming in, but this is how we do it. And it's
what about in some places we saw these things about keep 2 meters apart, we got some tapes on the floor. Did you do any of those? Yes, no?
Yeah, we have them on the floor to show like where to wait to queue, because we did find without them that people just weren't observing it. And the problem that we had is that obviously as a business you need people to come back, and if one particular customer isn't behaving COVID compliant, it makes another customer feel uncomfortable, and then in that situation the customer that feels uncomfortable isn't going to come back. So it's about, I think for us it was about finding the middle ground, and that was like, basically if everyone just follows these simple set of rules, stay on the lines, wear your mask, like no one feels uncomfortable and everyone can have a nice time.
What kind of marks did you put on the floor? Just curious. Was it like the black and white tape? What was it?
We did actually just use the general tape. We didn't get anything special for the tape, just because it was, I think with some of the stuff it was the speed that we had to do it.
Yeah.
The changes were coming so rapidly, and also the cost, because it was stuff that you haven't costed into your business, and suddenly you're like, okay, we've got to do this and we've got to do it by Thursday kind of thing. And so I'd say they probably aren't the most on brand of the stuff that we have. It's very, you know, yellow tape, but needs must in some circumstances.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. And what just when I was looking to see if there were any questions. No, I think there are no questions. No, this is really, really interesting. I didn't think about it. Of course, the lights one, it's so interesting, because if you have very strong lights, it creates a completely different environment. If you have indirect ones or subdued, and the packaging, the baskets, how it reinforced that rustic feeling through the wooden baskets and the brown packaging, and how it all reinforces each other. No, that's great. I think there are no questions, but thank you so much. It was really lovely to hear from you, Jo, and hear how you deal with these things in practice, and especially with the big challenges of COVID. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good day.